My name is Melody. So I'm currently at Blipli. So Blipli is an e-commerce in Indonesia. So I lead the design team as the head of design and insights. And currently also helping in brand communications team. So as deputy head of brand communication. So I've always wanted to do an MBA program, but the time never fit. So, after college and then work and everything got really busy. So I already know that I wanted to strengthen my business side. So as a background, my bachelor degree is very technical. So I was in informatics. And then throughout my working career also is in user experience, which is also very specific. Right. So wanted to broaden a little bit on the area for the business side. And then it came along, I think this program, the MBA program, stumbled upon it and then found a little bit more information about it. I talked also with a representative from the UCLA-NUS program, and it seemed like a good fit. So the schedule itself is feasible for someone who's working full-time. And during that time, I was actually first-time mom, also having a 10-month-old baby at that time. But the program was structured in a way that also allows us to, in a way, do the working also, and I'm still balanced with the learning as well. So I think scheduling is one thing, but the other one is also the perspective of both the East and the West. I think I really like that. It's also a combination of knowing a little bit on how the West, like in the US, how things works. Also with how, in Asia, how things are working as well. So I think a combination of that. In terms of context, Indonesia is, of course, a developing country. So there's a lot of things going on here. But knowing how developed country, like, for example, in the US, how things has worked, it really helped to give a different perspective from that side. Also, for example, in my batch, there was a lot of Singaporeans as well, right? I think, in terms of how the startups here work during that time in Singapore, there's a lot of learnings also that can be gotten from that program, also from the peers. So I think it's also that industry that I'm in is design for the longest time. So e-commerce, and then I was working on design, right? So design mostly is very technical, and you don't have much in terms of numbers, not knowing, all the stuff in terms of financial things. So by having this program, it really enhances the perspective, right? So you're not just focusing on design, on user experience, but then you get to understand a little bit more on the business side. So for me specifically, since after the program, I also got the opportunity to help in the brand communications team, which is more marketing. Then it really helped me to transition to that position, right? Because without that, I think my knowledge would be mostly very technical. So with the classes that I did in the program, it really helped me to understand more, mostly financial stuff. So I've actually had people come up to me to ask whether they should do an MBA or not. And I always go, okay, put it back to them also depending on the goal, right? So some people, if they want to, get more hands-on experience, sometimes, just being in a company or switching jobs will help in that case. But some people who want to know more of the knowledge, the theory, I think the program, like MBA program, is great. Specifically for Indonesia, I think just having a perspective from overseas is good because, again, we're a developing country. So there are more countries that are more developed who've been there, right? In a way that their companies are quite adopted. And sometimes we can learn from that. So I think that's the perspective that I like to see in terms of from Indonesia, seeing outside. I think that's one of the things that we can always learn as a developing country. I would say that would be some of the highlights. And I think it's more during group projects then you're able to learn, just know how they work because you have to share a lot of things, right? And a lot of the projects you see come up from your own company and you see that perspective. But not necessarily specific consultation with one person, but more just overall, you can kind of see how people do things differently in different countries. Right now, maybe the condition also, especially here in Asia, is a little bit uncertain, right? There are a lot of things uncertain in terms of tech industry. So of course, my company is also from tech. There's a lot of uncertainties, a lot of layoffs happening. So people sometimes are a bit worried on that side. So again, if you're still hungry to learn and things, I think going to a program might be a good option, right? So because I have seen people who are, currently seeking for new opportunities, but they're not necessarily happy with the options that are there. Actually, learning is a good option because when you go back, then you have something else to offer, right? That will actually enhance your knowledge and also your credentials as well. So I think if it's tailored to the current situation, that might be one way to look at it. That's specific for now. First, I thought it was going to be very easy, but turned out not much. And there was a lot of commitment. So be ready to be committed. Because again, this is also additional things on top of existing responsibilities, right? So knowing how to balance that and then making sure that you have a support system to be able to do that, right? Because if not, then it will be very hard if you're doing it all by yourself. So for me personally, the support system really helped. But I figured it out during the way, right? Along the way during the program. But yeah, because it seems like at the beginning, it was only the 2 weeks that you need to be present. But then there's all the other things that happens in between, right? So I think making sure that you have the commitment and also having the support needed would be something, if you know, right, directly from the front, that would be setting you for success in the program.